Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of the Tea Brief, and in this edition we're going to be looking back on the final round of the Club 100 2022 season that took place at Buckmore Park this weekend just gone. Was really looking forward to going back to Buckmore. I've only been there once this year. Sometimes I only go there once a year, but it's always great going back there, and I feel like we're back to normal, really, with the season starting at Buckmore and ending at Buckmore. Obviously, this time I got to do the SP60 as well as the Endurance. So the aim going into today was to win both of them. I'll come on to the Endurance in a bit, of course, and I'll come on to the SP60 in a bit, of course. But just before I do that, I just want to do a little plug. As you might be able to tell, and as I'm sure you've also worked out, it's November, and that means it's Movember, which is obviously a charity that, if you don't know about it, it's a charity designed to look out for men's mental health, men's physical health. It's basically all things men. Basically, prostate cancer, testicular cancer, everything that can be done to try and bring the rates of this down, bring the rates of male suicide down. Everything that they do is aimed at that. And every year since 2020, I've taken part in this. I shaved it all off in 2020. I didn't shave at all in 2021, and this year I've decided to actually grow the tash, and I'm liking it right now. I have to say, I'm liking it. And as per every year, I am attempting to run 60 kilometres in the month of November. I'm doing well. I've done 3 runs so far. However, I lost a week due to COVID. I had COVID at the start of this month. So yeah, I wasn't able to do anything. So I'm really up against it this time. So any donations you can make will be greatly appreciated. There'll be a link in one of these 2 corners where you can do so. But again, anything would be appreciated, however little, small. If it's a £5 or if it's 50 quid, it means exactly the same to me. So whatever you can give, I'd be more than grateful for that. But anyway, let's not get bogged down with that too much. Obviously it's a very important cause. Let's now have a look at the SP60, the one that took place in the morning. Not so sure why I specified morning. SP60 has always been in the morning, but I know that next year it's going to alternate between the two. So there we go. But yeah, so coming into the SP60, I was really looking forward to this one because I didn't get to do SP60 at Buckmore last time, and based on how it sort of went then, sorry if there was a light in the way just then, I've just moved it. I didn't get to do it, and it looked like that had I been able to do it, I would have been all right. I would have got on quite well. So I was really looking forward to that. And qualifying came around. The forecast was it was going to be a lovely day all day, but we got there at the start of the day, and it was misty. The condensation had come in from the Medway. It was just, and the track was damp. It was a damp track, and part of me was like, okay, cool, I go well in the damp here. But another part of me was like, well, these are my least favourite conditions. A drying track. I do not get on well with a drying track, ladies and gentlemen. And that was shown in qualifying. Like when it was really damp at the start, I was cruising along, just overtaking everyone for fun. But then it's as the track dries, I sort of get a little bit hesitant. I don't throw it around as much as it could be done, or I don't try and start taking a dry line, so to say. And that's what lets me down, really. That's one of the things I need to work on, and it's happened here. I ended up qualifying 21st. I was 5th in class. I think it was Max Jameson, Stig Alboff, Christopher Heath, and Jamie Garside in front of me in the SHW class. I was like, this might not be the walkover I thought it was going to be. So I was like, right, I really need to focus here. And ultimately, the mindset I got myself into worked, because I think within 5 minutes of the race starting, I was leading the super heavyweights. I'd got past pretty much all of them definitely got past Stig and Max on lap 1. I think I got past Christopher as well, and I was behind Jamie very quickly, and then I got him eventually. I can't remember when. I haven't even watched back the footage yet. But yeah, that's how that went. And then the rest of the race I spent catching up to the back of the 2 Tims, Tim Squared, Tim Hill and Tim Williams, whilst also trying to keep Steve Lindley behind me. And I was having decent success with that. I got past Tim Hill in a really weird move down the inside of the first of the Siamese sweeps, I think, or first of the S's is what they're called, after the second hairpin. And then eventually I got past Tim. I think I got him into the first hairpin, And then I was going great guns, coming into the final 10 minutes, I just knew they were all still behind. They were still behind me. I was like, "Come on, let's see what we can do here." And I think I made a little mistake through turn 2, and then into the second hairpin. Tim Hill got back past me. I was like, "Okay, that's fine. That's one. It's okay. We can still do this." But I was keeping up with it. I thought this is still on. And then I made what is my only mistake of the day, and I tried to lunge him into hairpin 2, but it came from really far back and it didn't work, and that allowed Tim Williams back through. Steve Lindley then he then dived me into paddock, and as me and him are sort of jostling, I've just clipped the bollard on the inside, and that was really annoying. And then I think Tim Williams got past, and then Carolis got past, and Garrett O'Connor got past. Fuck knows where he came from. He was nowhere for a while, but he got past me, and yeah, so I lost 5 places in the final 5 minutes, which is never a great feeling. But I thought I was going to be okay because I only had 1 place worth of penalties, whereas I knew for a fact that both Tims and Steve had penalties as well. So I was expecting to, whereas I'd finished 16th on the road, I was expecting to be 14th, as there were penalties for both Tims. But as it turned out, I finished 17th, and I was not prepared for that. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was not happy because I didn't understand how, even though I've got 1 position worth of penalties, both Tims have finished I've finished within the positions of them, yet I'm still behind both of them. I really did not get it. I vented my frustrations to JV, and it was sort of like, well, the calculation's been made, that must be the right result. So I was like, right, great. So yeah, I wasn't particularly happy about that, but I thought, okay, sod it, let's just get on with it. We've got good pace. We're going to be fighting these guys. Let's make sure still make sure we win the super heavyweights, and let's try and have a good fight with them. I got a very good start in race 1, race 2 even, and that's about all I can really say about that race, because the rest of it was shocking. I made no overtakes. I just got past back, and I hate to badmouth the cars. I really hate to do it, but this one that I had was an absolute dog. It felt fine in a straight line, but it had no grip whatsoever. The grip was horrific, and I try and go through turn 1 as I would normally, and I'd be all cross-aired and just going nowhere. So I was really upset with that. I was very disappointed. I came across the line in 16th, and to be fair, picked up yet another one of these. So, it's the weird juxtaposition of what has been this year, because there might be times where I don't race well, but I still end up picking up a winner's trophy, and I've got 6 others to prove it. But this one, it's really unfortunate, because this one, I have to call it the worst one I've won this year, because had I not lost those positions in race 1, or had I not even hit the cone, I would have finished 11th or 12th in that race, and that would have meant I would have had a much better car and could have properly competed in the second race. But because of what happened, I ended up with a shit car in race 2 and couldn't do well in race 2. I was literally just there. I was driving. I was like, well, look, I am doing my best. I know I'm driving my best, and they're just driving away from me because I really can't do anything with this car. So that was really disappointing. And yeah, again, I came into the day hoping to finish in the top 10 in the championship, hoping to get 600 plus points. I've ended up 12th with 597 points. So again, I was just a couple of points away from 600, which is it's one of those things that it will bug me, but it's not the worst thing in the world. At the end of the day, I won the championship. But sorry, I don't think I mentioned this as well. I won the championship before Buckmore even happened. Without the results at Ella went such a way that meant that the nearest competitor, Jamie Garside, couldn't catch me. He was more than 100 points away, so I'd won it before then. So I wanted to go out of a bang, and whilst yes, I've got the winner's trophy, it's my first solo winner's trophy at Buckmore Park, which you might think is a bit hard to believe because I've raced there so much over the years. But yeah, I've never won a solo race there before. So there's that. There's so many positives to take from it, and I think again the fact that I'm disappointed with the fact that I've still got a winner's trophy, I think really shows where I've come from, because normally I'd be like, well, you know what, the result wasn't brilliant, but who cares, I got the winner's trophy. Now it's like, well, I got the winner's trophy, but the result wasn't so good. So that's where I am now, and hopefully next year in the SP60, because I am going to be competing next year in 9 of the 10 rounds at least. Hopefully I can amend this 600 point issue, try and get into the top 10, and carry on my form in the SHW, or I might even drop into the heavyweights. Who knows? I'm running at the moment. I might be losing weight. I might, and the competition might be exactly the same next year. And to be completely honest, again, I don't want to seem disrespectful at all. But the fact is that, again, I can have a really not great race and still win. I don't want that anymore. I want to be, if I'm competing with the guys around me, I want to be racing them properly. I want to be every position be for points, and I reckon that will do really good things for my competitiveness. Having said that, if there's someone in the SHW who is there and is like we can have a season like I did with Richard last year, I'm all for it. I'll be down for it. If Alex Pritchard, I'm sure he's watching now. Alex, if you're going to be racing the SHW next year, bring it on. Let's give it a go. Let's have a proper good go at it. So I'll see what I do next year in the SHW in the SP60. I'm starting in the super heavyweights still as number 51. I've still got my number plate, as you can see, because I do intend to race as number 51 again next year. And yeah, that's really it for the SP60. Still really proud of my achievement. 8 races, smashed my points total from last year. If I'd have done more rounds, I'm sure it would have ultimately been higher. But yeah, and there have been times I've really think I've seen what I can do in Club 100 karting. But I'll talk more about that in my end of year video that will come out, believe it or not, towards the end of the year, so sometime next month. But yeah, happy to win, disappointed with the result. Endurance. I'm going to go through this quite quickly. You'll find out why in just a second. But basically, in the endurance, it was going to be three swans again. Myself and Jasper were there, but Tom was not. But fortunately, we had a stocking horse in the form of a chap called Simon Withers, who, if you followed me, if you are a die-hard fan of me, you might remember him from Swansea University Motorsport. Those days, he still was in the scene. When we went to the BUKC finals at the start of this year, he was still there. And we had a chat with him and said, look, if you want to come and do some endurance racing with us, just let us know. And he said, yeah, be up for that. And we were able to fit him in here for Buckmore. So he still had a team of 3, which was really nice. And again, the endurance hasn't gone to plan this year for various reasons. I've made mistakes. Other people have made mistakes. We didn't have as many rounds together as we wanted. We had to pull out of a few rounds, which was disappointing. So yeah, we wanted to sign off with a bang, and it was going very well. Jasper had put us on pole for the clubman class. This after Sergio Vamos, who had put it on pole overall, was disqualified for being underweight. We were starting 6th. We got a great start. It was going great guns, very similar to how we won. Which one is it? This one. And we won at Buckmore earlier in the year. So I thought, right, great. Simon went out. He's not experienced in Club 100 endurance racing. He did what he could. We'd fallen down to 6th in class by the end, and the podium was out of reach by the time I'd gone out. I went out, drove brilliantly. I must say, I really recovered my form. Was hounding Conman towards the end, really gaining in on them. Had the race been a few minutes longer, I would have had him. But unfortunately, it wasn't. We came across the line in 5th, but after his stint, Jasper had been weighed, and he was 84.5, and the weight limit is 85 kilos. So we were disqualified from the race and scored no points, leaving us 15th overall in the championship, just above in front of our friends Slow Coach Racing. But yeah, that wasn't great. To be honest, it sums up the season. Basically, we drove really well. We finished 5th and then got excluded. But there's another thing to say that we had run Jasper underweight for the previous couple of rounds as well. So that's karma for you. It caught up with us eventually, and I can rest assured you we will not make that mistake again. So disappointing way to end the Clubmans, especially after the championship win last year. I don't think we're going to be doing as much club endurance racing next year. Maybe the rounds at Buckmore and Wilton, and maybe Handau as well. Possibly Clay if Jasper gets his way, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, might not see the Free Swans as much next year, but we will be. My hope is that we'll be properly back in 2024. That's the idea, competing for the championship. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. This brings to a conclusion the tea brief for 2022. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed watching me through the year. The one thing I don't know what I'm going to do next year, as in terms of videos on the channel. As I'm sure you've worked out, where I made the promise to try and get a round out every Friday to round off the 2022 SP60 season for the videos. I haven't really been able to fulfill that brief, and I think if I can get all the videos for all the races out by the end of the year, I'll be happy. But I'm not going to make that promise because I just don't know what I'm going to be able to do, because I'm really busy at work, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if I'll carry on making the commentary videos. I just don't know. I just don't think I have the time for it. But the other thing is that when I sit down to actually do it, when I'm properly focused on doing it, I still really enjoy it. And it's just a case of, can I find that time to do it? But I can guarantee you the tea brief will remain. I mean, look at the surroundings we've got. We've got all of these winners' trophies. This one will go up there in a second. We'll have a third championship trophy up there as well. We'll still have the 51. I've got the helmets. I've got this lovely area here. I'm not moving out of here for the foreseeable future. So the room will still be here. Hopefully by the next time we do a video in here, there won't be so much scatter around here. There'll be stuff on the wall there. There are a few pictures down there. The GoPro itself rests on some canvases that that are all of me karting. So hopefully those will be up as well. But yeah, that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for watching. If you're still watching and you're not subscribed, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you know when a new video comes out. One of the things I love about Rich T is you still get to see the numbers grow in subscribers. We're nearly at 600 subscribers. I'd love to end the year with that amount. So again, yeah, if you're still watching me ramble on at this stage, be sure to subscribe. And also, I haven't mentioned him through the video, but I just want to give a shout out to my biggest fan on the channel, Sahib Chana. He came along for Buckmore. He got up at 4:30 to get from Liverpool down to Chatham, where I picked him up and then dropped him back off, where he then went back up to Slough to stay with his parents. And there will be some footage of him on the channel at some point, because he did the test session at the end of the day, and I put the GoPro on him. So I'll do something with that footage, I promise you that. But yeah, that is all I want to say. Thank you so much to everyone that I've raced against. Thank you so much for everyone that has watched me this year. And all I shall say for now is ta-ta and farewell.